Hi everybody, it's Caroline here and welcome to my channel. And today I am working on a project for Tracy Reed Design Team, and that is working with Sketchy Sunday number 37. So I have got my sketch here on my iPad. Tracy always sets up her sketches with a square canvas on the original sketch, but she always designs these so that you can completely pull them apart if you work on, say, a traveller's notebook style project, or live crafted albums, anything like that. So her sketches are always translatable into different sizes, and that's what I'm going to be doing today. I'm not going to be working on a 12 by 12 canvas. In fact, at the moment I think I'm actually going to be working on two 3 by 8, possibly even pocket page protectors. So with a 3 by 8, two 3 by 8 pockets on each side, just kind of working with the centre section of the sketch. I know I'm going to be working with two small photos. I'm going to take out this large photo and add in a sentiment card, which will in fact be my title. It gives me a little bit more space because I'm working at a smaller canvas. It gives me more space for my journaling. But that's all I know at this point of what I'm going to do with this sketch. Definitely going to try and add in some stitching where those dotted lines are. You could also put stamping there or just doodles. And I know I'm going to be working with the current collection, Tracy's new collection, which is called A Flutter. It's the one that I've got recently printed and I'm in love with it. So when I'm working quite heavily with a collection, I just fall in love with it so much that I can't ever contemplate working with anything else. So that's why at the moment I'm definitely going to work with the Flutter collection. So really looking forward to getting a project put together for this sketch. I've got my 3 photos printed out. I've done them at a very small photo size on my selfie printer, so they've got a little white border and they are 2 inches wide by just under 3 inches. So yeah, 2 inches by 2.75. So I've got 3 of those, probably only going to work with 2. This one didn't actually work very well and I cropped it. I lost a bit of the kind of composition of the photo, so might not work with that one. Definitely 2. And I'm going to be telling the story about my new crystal bead bracelets, which I've got and I'm wearing today, so you might hear a bit of jangling. I might end up taking those off, we'll see how I go. And they are from my friend Denise over at Luna Kisses, so loving those. So really want to enjoy telling a story about those. So put things onto fast forward and voiceover and show you how this one comes together. One of the great things with Tracy's collections is that she sizes down her patterned papers. So if you purchase the pattern cards, you're going to have the same patterns that you get in the pattern papers, but just much smaller, so much daintier, and they work really, really well when you're working in a much smaller canvas like I am today. So I have printed out 2 of the, each pattern 3 by 4 size. I've got 3 patterns that at the moment I think I'm going to work with, and I have cut those completely across on the diagonal so that I'm working at the moment, as I said, with just the very, very center section of the sketch. And at this point I am still intending to work within 3 by 8 page protectors. So if you imagine a 3 by 8 page protector on the left hand side, split into a 3 by 4 at the top and a 3 by 4 at the bottom, and the same on the right hand side. So that is my intention, and that is why I am kind of hovering things on my cutting mat in this particular way. I do end up going completely away from that, as you will see if you continue to watch this video, but this is the place where I was starting from, and this would have looked really good. It would have looked absolutely lovely. It would have been a really interesting take on the sketch, but I decided that I wanted to bring in extra patterns. I wanted a little bit extra space. I wanted more embellishment. I just wanted more, and the collection is so pretty and it's got so much versatility to it. Why not? But at the moment what I am doing is working with those 3 patterns that I had already pulled out to kind of emulate the design that was there on the sketch. I wanted the 2 pinks to be sat next to each other on the left hand side, but kind of opposite each other on the right hand side. And as I said, I've decided to use one of the sentiment cards as my title. I'm just bringing in the sketch there to kind of re-reference it. I want that sentiment card as my title. so it gives me more space for journaling because I really love that card. And this is where I've decided to just shake things up a little bit, and I've brought in my favourite pattern paper from the collection, which I have already used on my memory planner spread using this collection. But the joy of printable collections is you can just keep printing more, which is fantastic. So at the moment I'm trying to decide whether to use this rainbow wood grain or this very muted kind of white wood grain that I have pulled in from the My Person collection, which was Tracy's February collection last year. I love how it's really soft, it's really white, it really echoes the white wood grain that I have on my craft mat, which is where, my craft desk, which is where I took my main photo for this spread. So I'm going to be working with that as my background, and I've printed those at true traveller's notebook size. So they are 8.25 inches high by 4.25 inches wide, and I'm going to be using those as my base canvas at this point, building on top of that, so working with the sketch still, using those as my background canvas. My traveller's notebook is now disc bound, so I punched them with the hole punch that I use for my happy planner, and then I add the pages onto discs, so it gives me greater freedom to add in more embellishments and more texture, different dimensions. I can pop things onto pop dots because they're not just bound within a traveller's notebook that's got staples. Basically I can extend with extender discs, and my traveller's notebook can get nice and chunky, which is the way I like it. So as I said, adding things onto this background canvas, just lots of movement, getting things exactly where I want them, little bits of adhesive in the middle because I know that I want to go and take these pages over to my sewing machine in a minute and add in some stitching to kind of go with the flow of the sketch. You'll see I've got a white 3x4 journaling card from the collection over there on the left hand side, and that's because that now I have decided to extend my pages a little bit. Now I'm going to go into my traveller's notebook rather than my page protectors. I'm thinking that I've got more space for journaling because I have that Like the Butterfly I Believe in Change sentiment card, which I'm going to use up on the top right as my title. I'm thinking that to balance everything out, I may well change things up and put my journaling over on the bottom left, where I've kind of got things plotted out now. On the sketch, the journaling was on strips underneath the title, but because I've got this additional space, I really like this composition. I like moving that journaling over onto the left hand side. I've actually brought in that third photo that I didn't think I was going to use because that works really well as well, and just really happy with this slight shift from the sketch. And that is one of the great things with sketches. They're there to inspire, they're there to help you create. They are not there as a rule for you to kind of be forced to stick within. So I'm using Tracy's sketch as a jumping off point, as a source of inspiration, and then just going my own way with it. But at this point I'm just making a few little dashes, and I am going to take this over to my sewing machine and get some stitching down. I love to leave the ends of my threads when I've been over at my sewing machine. It adds extra texture onto the paper, so I always just leave those there and I just let them kind of flow, or I'll add a little tiny touch of adhesive and bunch all of the edges up. And so what I'm doing now is just sticking everything down. I've decided to go with angles rather than straight lines, just so that everything feels really organic and as if it's just kind of dropped onto the page almost. I'm really happy, as I said, with this composition, with that sentiment card on the top right, and then echoed by that journaling card on the bottom left, and I will add my journaling to that spot later. I did decide to bring in that third photo because it just worked really well to add in that additional weight up on the top left, and to have the main photo, even though it's the same size as those other two, because it stands alone on the bottom right, it really stands out for me. It helps for that to really pop and show that that is the important photo. And I'm just looking now, referring to the sketch and looking at where the embellishment clusters are on the sketch. I've still got quite a lot of the die cut stickers from this collection already printed and cut. Of course, it's a printable collection, so I could just go in and print more if I wanted to, but I do like to try to use as much as possible once I've printed something once before I print it again. I print at home and print and cut at home, so I want to utilize my ink as much as well as I can. So I don't want to print out these die cut sheets until I've used as many as I can from the first print run. And what I am doing here is I'm working with the sentiment and the word phrase kind of sentiment pieces from the collection, one in each of those embellishment clusters. I've also pulled out a floral for each of the embellishment clusters, a couple of the lovely mushrooms and the beautiful butterflies. So I'm just moving backwards and forwards, trying to make sure that my embellishment clusters have all got something in common but are all unique as well, and layering things up just for interest and for additional prettiness. I'm moving backwards and forwards between these embellishment clusters now, just adding little touches here and there so that they have got lots and lots of detail, lots of texture, lots of interest. But I'm also very conscious at this point that that gorgeous rainbow wood grain is just sat on the right hand side of my desk, just kind of peeking into view on the camera. And I love it. It's my favourite paper, as I said. And although I'm really happy with the way this project looked as it was, I have decided to bring those rainbow wood grains in and extend my page size that little bit. Now, because I am working, as I said, with a disc bound traveler's notebook, it means I can actually extend my page width. So these are printed at 8.25 high by 5 inches wide, and that's absolutely perfect. Once I've punched my holes, it sits really nicely within the cover of my book. And I am kind of changing the page sizes up in my book. Some of them are the true 4.25 wide, and if it just happens that I come to a page where I've already built, so the next page that I put after this one, I'll just make sure that it fits well with the size, so that maybe one side of the traveler's notebook spread will be 5 inches wide and the other side will be 4.25. That doesn't bother me at all. I'd much rather use the papers that I love the most and get my stories told. Okay, and there we have it. Here is the finished layout minus my journaling, which I will add onto this card here, and my just the date stamp, which I'll probably put somewhere over here. I've left the sketch here so you can see how these compare. So I opted to use that wider canvas in the background. I'm really pleased that I did, because it kind of grounds it all for me. I loved it with this neutral wood grain, but that beautiful rainbow wood grain in the background just pulls everything together and just sticks it all on the page, and I love it. Yeah, really happy with this project. I hope you like it too. Please join in if you'd like to. The sketch, you can either take a snapshot of it here by doing a screenshot, or you can head over to either my Instagram, which is at Caroline's Creative Healing, or Tracy's, and you'll be able to find this sketch. You'll be able to find it on her blog, which is www.tracyreed.com. And yeah, join in. So if you do happen to make anything with this sketch, make sure you tag myself, and I'm sure Tracy would love to see it as well. And that would be, yeah, brilliant to see what people make. So thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you don't already, please subscribe, and I will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.